Why have sneaker collaborations been so mid? This is a topic that Business of Fashion tackles. They have a new article kind of talking about why these collabs have been so stale. Their article features some takes from Beema Williams, who, if you don't know, is very well versed on the collaboration space for sneakers. And they go through and talk about how he had his own shoe for Saucony, and he was able to have a lot of flexibility on that with the design, with the marketing, the packaging, in a lot of different areas. But how that is not the standard for collaborations. And oftentimes big brands like New Balance or Nike, they're choosing a model of shoe that they want to push out for the next season and restricting their collaborators to working on that, and mainly just giving them choices on colorways. So there's a real stifling of creativity in a lot of areas for these collaborations. And on top of that, you have an over-reliance on really old models like an Air Force One, Sambas. I'd even throw Jordan 1s in there. And there's been a real resistance to this. And I think we see this with the rise of brands like Hoka, On, Asics. I think New Balance was a product of being tired of those models and that strategy. And now after a few years, I actually think New Balance has been the one enabling that strategy in a way. Don't get me wrong, they have some great collabs, but I think it's gotten to a point now where it's almost too many, and it's not the same level of detail we got with those earlier ones a couple years ago. And I think those brands like Solomon, On, Hoka, their growth has really been because they focus on a good product. Whether that's good comfort or they work well outdoors, they've been able to take some market share by focusing on just enhancing their product viability. Beema also has a take that he thinks micro trends and kind of this hyper experimentation is something that's going to continue to grow in the industry. And I agree. I think we already see it with Crocs. I think it really started with their collaborations with Soleil Bembury, and now it's almost grown to a full line. Off the top of my head, he has 4 or 5 different models with Crocs. And on top of that, they still collaborate with others, like Story MFG, like Levi's, the Ding Yung Zhang Crocs. I've also seen Adidas try this experimentation with their latest weird foot attachment collab. Fear of God Athletics is another line they're trying to expand. It really seems like for the brands that aren't focusing on honing a real product with a real specialty, that they're just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. And an important part of that too is pricing. It's no secret that pricing has gotten a bit out of hand, especially with Nike and Jordans. You can tell by the resale market and even Nike's latest earnings report. Almost half of the products sold via Nike's channels are sold discounted from their full price. See a lot of these older retro models like Jordan 1s, like Dunks, sitting in stores, which for fans of the shoes and people who want to get their hands on them is amazing. But from a company level that was used to selling out every release and having all the hype in the world, it's not so great when you have shareholders. Part of their strategy is going to be also focusing more on sports and putting that at the center of their work. But sure, it's probably a good idea when you're a sportswear brand, but we've seen On, Hoka, Asics, all these other sports brands really steal that market share and have a real focus in running and tennis, hiking, areas that Nike used to lead in. Other brands like Adidas and Puma have been really present in the basketball sphere. For soccer, you have Adidas and New Balance there as well. And I don't think Nike saying they're going to focus more on athletes and partnerships with those athletes is really going to help. It's just going to bring a whole other layer of oversaturation. I mean, think about how many basketball players have their own shoe. Look, I'm not even a basketball fan, but not one of them is probably going to lead to a brand as renowned as Jordan's or as Kobe's. I could be wrong. 10 years, you could tell me. I don't think this is a great strategy. I think areas like their 3D printed shoes they showed off at ComplexCon. I think real product innovation, that's where we're going with footwear and sneakers. And I think collaborations are an area where you can really excel and really take that first step in showing innovation and bringing something new to the consumers. Bit of a different video, but this is just a topic I'm really interested in. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments.